Lynae has been revealed. Let's talk about her. My name is Juice, and let's get into it. Okay, so Wuthering Waves is slowly but surely starting to roll out their promotions for Lahai Rhoi, the next big region that's going to come out in 3.0, and I am very much looking forward to it. Based on the characters that they revealed, I'm personally very interested. I like the designs of them, so I at least am quite invested. I think that they all look very good, and I'm very enthusiastic to see more. So, on the next step of our Lahai Rhoi teaser journey, we have the drip marketing for Lynae. This character looks really, really nice. You see, what I quite like about this is that we don't really have any character in Wuthering Waves that is like this. This is a super unique vibe. Based on the little dialogue about choosing her next color on the Twitter post, and also just this entire vibe and the fact that there's paintings on her motorcycle, I am pretty sure she is a graffiti artist, which is a very interesting vibe. I'm curious what they're going to do with that, if they're going to incorporate that into your kit at all. I would be very interested. I really like a couple of details here. For instance, she has a little ice guy, a little ice echo hanging from her jacket. Oh, that's just really funny. That's just funny. I like that. I like that a lot. That was a very silly detail that they very easily could have left out, but no, they decided to throw that in there. And you know what? Kuro games, I like it a lot. I think that is very funny. As for some other details, she has a little name tag on her belt, and Luke has something similar, so I'm going to assume that those two go to the same school, and there have been some people theorizing that those two are related because both of them have blonde hair with green ends, in which case, that would be interesting. I would hope that if they are siblings, Kuro could explore that dynamic a little bit. That would be pretty cool. As for some other things about this design, she has some little sparkles on the top of her socks. I think that's pretty cool. Her shoes are just really cool. This isn't necessarily a detail or anything. I'm just looking at these shoes and thinking, damn, those are some really nice shoes. I like those. They're pretty cool. Now, are they realistic? Perhaps not, because I see a little disc coming out the back of them, but the point still stands that I think those are some really, really neat shoes. I like them. They're very cool. That's kind of the vibe that this character is trying to put across. She's cool, she's chill, and she's just here to have a good time, and I think that's cool. The headphones, I also quite like around her neck. Those are really nice. And she has some green sparkly earrings hanging down her ears, so that's pretty cool too. I do think that the motorcycle is pretty cool. Like, just look at that motorcycle. That looks awesome. That is a really cool looking motorcycle. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. The gold is insane. And I like that she customized it. That also adds just a lot of flair to it. Plenty of personality. Her jacket is also super colorful. I think that's really nice. Now, one thing I'll point out, it could just be that the jacket has layers or something like that, but as you can see, the back of the jacket has some bluish pink colors, but I believe in her initial drip, it was more like iridescent colors, so I wonder if there's anything going on there, or if I'm just reading into it too much. I'm gonna be honest, think I'm just reading into it too much, but if that does end up amounting to anything, well then, here it is. I mentioned it. Awesome. She has a little bit of paint on her clothes. It makes sense. She is a graffiti artist. She also has the bubble gum in her mouth, so I'm thinking, is that going to be an idle animation or something like that? Or is she going to use it in a fight? Or is it just for promotional material and I'm just reading into it too much once again? Who knows, man? Who knows? The entire vibe of this drip is honestly really nice. I'm loving the style here. It's super colorful, it's super bold, it's super out there, and I think the character's vibe comes across excellently. I am quite interested in seeing where this character goes. She is pretty cool. I like the vibe at least. And I also see she has a cat on her motorcycle and there's a big cat behind her. So that's nice, everyone likes cats. At least I really like cats, so that's fun. I am an enjoyer. Really nice little concept. All around, this character looks really nice. I think she's going to be a really good opener to the new Lahai Rhoi region. Something I will say that quite intrigues me, all the characters that were revealed are so different from each other. I would say that Renasita kind of followed a general high fantasy theme. It was very much, yes, this is a fantasy world, and we're going to really emphasize that in the character designs. And then in Septimont, it was like, we are in a Roman warrior place, we're going to emphasize that. And then I would say in Jinzhou, this is a place where there's a lot of people that fight against the Lament, and we have a lot of army people here. We're going to reflect that in the designs. Obviously, there were some exceptions, like Shorekeeper and 1.x was a big departure from the other designs that were coming out at the time, but generally, I would say that for the most part, a theme is followed. In Lahai Rhoi, everyone is just really unique, and I quite like that. There is something for everyone here, and I feel like there is at least one design that is going to appeal to someone. There's genuinely a lot going on here. And with Lynae in particular, because she is the first character that we have, I think she looks really cool. I'm interested in her, and because she's the first 3.0 character, it's likely that I'm going to try to pull for her. I'm holding a guarantee at the minute, so I think I could possibly go for her. I'll see what my pulls are looking like at the time, I'm not particularly sure, but either way, I am very much interested. I literally couldn't tell you what she's going to do right now. Like, listen, even if I wanted to go on a fun little rant about, oh, what could she do? Dude, I don't know. It's really hard to say. You know, it's a 3.0 character. This could be a character that does literally anything. We don't know what to expect. Now, because she is such a big release in the sense of she's going to be the premier character of 3.0, she was the first one that was dripped, I am expecting Kuro to maybe release a bit more about her a bit earlier than the others, kind of like what they've done in the past whenever they dripped Card of Thea's animations early. I don't know if they're going to do that. I would expect them to. If they don't, I'll be quite surprised, because they usually reserve that for characters they consider to be bigger releases, or just patches they consider to be bigger patches. So I think they would probably do that for 3.0, considering that they're hyping it up and whatnot, but I'm not particularly sure. I am curious what type of promotional content we're going to get over this next while. I do believe that we are beyond the point whenever Renacita had gotten a couple of its trailers last year, so we probably do have more to expect, and perhaps Kuro is just going to feed us more over a longer period of time, I'm not sure. But I am looking forward to finding out more about this character. I genuinely do not know what this character is going to do. Like, I just don't know. It is way too hard to make any kind of conclusion or to say anything in particular because it's a 3.0 unit, man. This character's mechanics could be literally anything. I don't know if it's going to be a DPS. I don't know if it's going to be a support. I have no clue. I mean, my guess is that this will be a DPS, because it would make sense to open your exciting new region with a character like a DPS so that people can start the game and have a strong character to play, but I don't particularly know. We'll just have to wait and see. That's just a logical guess. Perhaps she could end up being a support. A second slot, a third slot, I really don't know. I mean, we did just get a third slot teammate, but there's nothing saying we can't get 2 third slots in a row. They just don't really do that, I've noticed. But we'll just have to wait and see. All around, I'm interested in her. I'd like to see some more promotional material, and I'd like to see what she does. I'm curious if she's gonna fit on my account at all. I'm not particularly sure. I hope she does, because she does look really neat. Would be really cool. But in any case, I'm a fan. I just think this character looks good. I think that she's really cool, to be honest. They really nailed the vibe here. I love the vibes. Just super chill. I will say this about her potential performance. I can assure you, at the very least, that she is very likely to be quite good, because she is a 3.0 character, and Kuro is probably going to be looking to slightly raise the bar when it comes to damage dealers in the new region, just because that's how it usually works in these types of games, and Kuro Games tends to do that very naturally, so I am sure that she is going to be a very strong character no matter what she ends up doing, and if she is a damage dealer, well, let me just remind you that good old esteemed Montelli Lady Carlotta is still a good unit to this day. So I assume that they're going to make the 3.0 character similar to her, where she's probably going to be on the more accessible side, and she's going to be a pretty strong DPS on the whole. At least I would hope for that. That would be nice. And if she is a support, I'm not particularly sure what type of support she would be, but I'm not sure. Remember, Chisa is still in need of some more teammates, so perhaps she will be a negative status DPS. If not, then she could probably just be a usual hyper carry because it would be a good character to start with, and I think it would be a little bit weird to make the first character in a region a negative status character because, well, that wouldn't really be accessible for most people that would be starting the game at the time. Though granted, if it's a new type of status, they could just add it to a rover type and that sorts that out, at least for the 3.0 release period, but that's why I'm saying that it's really hard to predict what they're going to do with this character. We don't have any information right now, so I could not really tell you what to expect. Now, tomorrow we are likely to get her element and her weapon type. So from there, we're going to be able to talk a little bit more about what she could potentially do. But right now, while we just have her drip, it's really hard to speculate because I'm not sure if I want to say anything about a 3.0 character because it could literally be anything and I am most definitely going to be wrong. Then again, that's the point of speculating, you just do it for fun. I will at least just close off with my personal wishes. I hope that the motorcycle is usable in the overworld. That would be extremely fun if we could run around with that, or I suppose drive around with that. Would be really nice. I hope that there's not a super long cooldown on it. Just let us use the motorcycle. Ideally, don't put a cooldown on it. Ideally, don't put any sort of restriction on it. Let us just use the motorcycle and do, like, sick jumps with it and stuff. That'll be really fun. And otherwise, I hope with the whole painting aesthetic they've got going here, the whole graffiti aesthetic, they use it. And I would really hope that we end up getting a character that fights with colors or with paint or something like that. Otherwise, I'll likely be happy with whatever they cook up because I just like the vibe of this character, and I'm sure that Kuro has a good idea here, and I am just one happy camper in general. Are you going to be pulling for her? Let me know down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Hopefully this video was able to hype you up for Lynae's drip marketing. This has been Juice, signing out, and if she ends up being Luke's brother, that would be pretty funny, seeing as they're such a contrast.